I got Guam on both my accounts, the God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals, where you max out 30 titles. Shit took so fucking long.
Don't you get that in Guild Wars 2?
You don't, only if you had it in Guild Wars 1.
Right. So you do have it then.
Yes. There's no way to like earn that equivalent one though. I mean, they might have like, you know, something similar, but
Yeah, that's only
like...
earned through Guild Wars 1 though.
Yes.
That's impressive. I only met one other person who had that title in all my time with Guild Wars 1 and 2.
I've got it on both my accounts.
Good God. Is that second account linked?
It is. I shouldn't have. I kind of
sold that. Oh man.
I would have rather just give it to someone that I knew. I was thinking about giving it to Mark actually at one point, but I was after the fact, after I linked it. But because I know, you know, he's never gonna play that game.
Right.
That's a cool title to have, though.
Very.
Yeah, I've got like, I want to say 14 hours on my main Guild Wars 1 account, and then I've got like 8,000 on my second account.
You know, Guild Wars 1 has such charm to it that I'd probably play it if I could get it like on a Switch or something. I wish you could do it offline, but if it was to be possible to get like on a Switch or Steam Deck, I would do that on the times I just kind of want to like relax and sit on the couch. Don't want to have to, you know, get on a computer.
That's what Guild Wars 1 is all about, though. Like, you don't have to play with anybody. You can just get on and just go through it.
That's what I want to do, but it just seems like it would be so much more like that casual aspect if I could do it casually, like on the couch, like just relaxing, not having to.
I guess I see like problems playing this shit on the Switch.
Yeah.
With skills and stuff.
True.
I don't know. It could probably work though.
Not saying it's ideal, but I don't know if like if I'm at my computer and I have the option to go play like Guild Wars or Throne of Liberty, because there's nothing really I'd want to play on the Switch or Steam Deck or whatnot, but
Right.
I wouldn't go to my computer to go play Guild Wars. I'm not saying it's bad in that sense, but like I have other things I'd want to occupy my time with. But when those times that I don't, I think Guild Wars would be such an awesome game to like throw up. Same with Diablo 2. I'd get that shit on a Steam Deck or Switch in a heartbeat.
Never played Diablo 2.
I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things. I feel the same way about. That's why I never played like RuneScape or WoW, because when I was playing that, I was playing Guild Wars 1, which, you know, as a young-minded person, like I saw the graphics and I was like, why the fuck would I play one of those games?
Right.
And I thought those people were fucking idiots for playing WoW or RuneScape. But WoW is definitely way more expansive for sure.
Honestly, the only difference I had between WoW and Guild Wars was that WoW could jump. I always like blew my mind being like, how can you not jump in this game?
I guess because I started on it, I never had a problem with it. Like, that was the only real game MMO wise that I was playing for a long time. Very long time. I'm not gonna lie though, probably good 4,000 of those hours are like sitting in Xinjiang Monastery trolling people.
Yeah, a good portion of my time spent on the game was my friend and I just running around hitting on people with pickup lines and shit.
Yep.
Male rangers look like females. My friend walked up to a dude, thought it was a female, long hair from the back and whatnot, girly figure, starts hitting on him. Dude, it's like the classic, like the guy just turns around, doesn't say anything, he just turns around and just, my friend was out.
Yep. That's funny as shit.
Or the, oh my god, the coolest thing was the in sync dancing,
Oh
the
yeah.
space asterisks, and they have that in Guild Wars 2, but no one does it anymore.
Yeah. People aren't really as sociable, and I kind of blame it on Guild Wars 2 because like there aren't really a lot of good hubs. Like, you know, you got Lion's Arch, you know, whatever, but there's something about like going to Guild Wars 1 and you've got to go to this hub to get out, you know, from, you know, get to the other instance or something, and you know, you start seeing people and you talk to them. But it's not really like that with Guild Wars 2.
No.
I don't know how they did it with 1, man. They like there's so many like systems that were just really good. Like really well thought out.
Lion's Arch in Guild Wars 1 didn't have a portal hub taking you to other areas, did it? It was just,
No,
that was the
it's
place
just
to
a town.
be.
Yeah, Lion's Arch, you had Commodon and Nightfalls, and then you had Xinjiang Monastery and factions, or Kaining Reach.
God, I
For
actually,
some reason, I don't know what it was, but like it just brought like for the most part though, those were like main towns for the respective campaign.
yep.
So like that's why they were what they were. It's like, you know, Guild Wars 2, you can go to Lion's Arch and get through other places, but you can also get to other places by other means. And like Guild Wars 1, it wasn't like that. Like you had to go through those places.
And when you got to them, though, it was like an achievement in itself.
Yeah, it was
Felt
cool.
good, yeah.
I
Rolling up
remember,
to Lion's
oh,
Arch and seeing all that gold, and I was blown away from it.
yeah, and then like being in old Ascalon where it's like red and fucking burnt up, and then you're traveling to Lion's Arch and you start seeing the sand and shit, and you're like, oh shit, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
A new area. I thought that was the coolest fucking thing. Fucking water, dude. I was like, wow. Then seeing the Shiver Peaks, I think that was my that was the coolest thing for me, seeing the Shiver Peaks, the cold area. My young mind, man.
What I think. Shiver Peaks wasn't Eye of the North, was it? It was just
So
base game.
it was, but it wasn't like
You got to
prophecies
Eye of
did,
the North from it.
um really the way you got from Eye of the North, it's kind of weird to explain, but you got to it from one of the main towns of the respective campaigns. So if you're a factions, you'd get to it from Kaining City. If you're a Nightfalls, you'd get from it to it from Commandant. Prophecies, you'd get to it from LA. Lion's Arch. It's kind of weird, but you know, Prophecies did have Shiver Peaks areas, but they were all kind of, not all of them were low level, but some of them were higher level. But most of Eye of the North still takes, you know, time in the Shiver Peaks. It's just, it was a different expansion, so that map was like locked forever until that last update they did, campaign update. I don't know if you remember Yak's Bend, but that was like one of the, I think that was like the first town of the Shiver Peaks.
The name is familiar, but I can't think of it in my head. Like, I can't picture it.
Yeah, that was the first time. Pretty sure that's the first town you see when you come when you're coming from Old Ascalon. Shit was awesome, man. I guess it's more rewarding because it's the first change you see from, you know, the pre-Ascalon and then Old Ascalon. And you just see the fucking cold Shiver Peaks. New enemy types and shit. That's where you fight the stone dwarves.
Yeah.
Evil ones. Damn, man. Good times.
I'm watching some YouTube videos of it now. Like, all this talk has made me actually want to play it.
Yeah. Every time I even start thinking about it, I want to play it, man. Just love it. I think a lot of people make like the mistake of like they'll get somebody to just do, you know, run them through on their high level character, but it's much better if you like start from scratch, just like get the real experience.
Oh yeah, agreed.
See the fucking struggles, man.
Getting a gear, making a good team, leveling out, changing out
Exactly.
their builds, getting everything to
Yeah.
synergize is just incredible.
That's why I always start new characters when I go back.
What's your favorite expansion to start in?
Probably factions, just because it's the fastest. But I believe prophecies is more, how do you say?
Interesting?
I wouldn't say interesting. It's just more, you get like more of a homey vibe to it because it was their first campaign, I guess.
I do like the leveling and prophecy and the mob type and just the way that the map is laid out, but I do like factions character, like playing the assassin's probably my favorite, but there are some, I think it's faction that just has some missions and levels that I absolutely did not enjoy. And it may be because I,
Well,
like, back then I was too stupid to know really what to do, so I was just hard
that's
heading my
probably
way
what it
through
was.
it.
Factions is, it starts to be more unforgivable for stuff, and it's like I wonder if they expected you to know certain things, like as if you played through prophecies. But yeah, it's a lot worse, and then Nightfall gets even worse. I still don't even like starting into that one now because I mean, if you start at Nightfalls, it's very easy to get confused on what you need to do. The way they have the quest there just kind of sucks. At least until you get off the newbie island. After that, it's fine. I think Nightfall has some of the harder missions as well. My only gripe with factions is like the AI on like Minlo or fucking Togo, Master Togo, they would not do the right shit, and if they die, it would make your entire party get wiped, and you'd have to start the mission over again.
That's probably one of the
That's
things I struggled with.
that shit used to be so fucking annoying. Like you have to make sure you're running with them, or they just like run into a mob of enemies. It's like why?
How far did you and Kia get in your playthrough many years ago?
We went through it all.
Oh shit.
Kia, we went through everything, and then I think we were going for titles, and this is when I was on my second account, and I went ahead and just went all the way through my second Guam, and I think Kia just stopped playing. I was just doing it by myself, which is understandable. Getting that is like it's like a stupid grind. You're gonna be playing for like 2 months if you know what you're doing.
That's one thing I don't like about Guild Wars 2 is having to path everything out to just make the comprehension check to like know what it is I'm doing for legendaries and stuff, because that's, I guess, about the closest thing to titles, or the equivalent of like farming out that title is just
Well,
legendaries.
I don't think it's that. I think Guild Wars 2 takes it way in another direction. The only thing that makes it take so long in Guild Wars 1 is it's time consuming. But you're not having to do like keep track of 10 different currencies that you need to get daily or weekly, because if you don't, you're shafting yourself or your progress.
Yeah,
It's just that stuff for those titles are time consuming.
I had to make spreadsheets to be able to even be like, before I started a
Yes,
legendary, I actually had to make a spreadsheet to know that what I was doing, where I was getting it, why I was
yep.
getting it.
I still do that. Because if you don't, I mean, you're gonna just be going to the web pages, the wiki, like over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and even that can start getting confusing. Yeah, I really didn't like how they did legendaries. I would have much preferred like just a very long grind that you had to do for them,
Yeah.
instead of like a bunch of different currencies that you'd have to keep track of. Yeah, I got the Guild Wars 2 itch probably, I don't know, a couple years ago, and I just got legendary and everything. Got all the sets, medium, light, and heavy.
What did you do it for the gosh, the name's not Obsidian.
Yeah, damn, why can't I remember it now? The PvE one, where you're doing the fractals. I don't know why I can't remember the fucking name.
Oh, you didn't do the raid version, you just did the fractals?
Yeah, fractals. What do you mean raid versions?
Mayhaps you had to incorporate raid, but
Yeah. The only other legendary PvP, like, or legendary armor, are like PvP, and then now they have the Obsidian PvE ones. That's it.
okay. I thought there was maybe a two PvE ones distinct, being fractals and raids, but it was PvP, PvE, and now double PvE. Or
Yeah. There's multiple. There's World v World set and like a, a regular PvP set as well. But yeah, there's no like raid specific, even though you do have to incorporate them just like you do for the accessories. And boy, if you want to talk about the most elitist groups I've ever had to fucking deal with, my goodness.
raids or fractals?
Raids. Fractals are like chill. They're not really too big a deal. I mean, there's some that are kind of wonky, but not bad. And as long as you're one to get the right because sometimes you'll get like annoying people that go in there with like too low agony resist, and it's like, why? But I mean, as long as you're min agony resist, you're good. Just do the mechanics. Motherfucker tried to take my spider. Fuck you.
I could appreciate now that the game's been out a while and everyone's like figured out the best way to do stuff, and so you kind of do just want to get people who aren't playing for fun, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with any toxicity, and that I guess I didn't even really attempt it. I had a schedule to learn raids, and that just was what the thing that like put me off, being I'd learn 1 or 2 raids a week. And you're telling me I'm gonna have to wait 6 weeks or 8 weeks to learn them all, to then now go spend another 8 weeks to try and just unlock the resources or the material to craft the legendary. I just couldn't do it at that point.
Yeah, you gotta like, your mind just has to get in the mode. Like one day it might happen. I don't know. One day it might not, but it's been like years I wanted to do that, and I just didn't. But it was like, I don't know. One day I was just like, I'm gonna do it, and I did it.
That's how it was for me. And I started with the Obsidian, and I was like, oh man, I can do this. I'm gonna start unlocking all the legendaries, and then I got a sword. Started getting the accessories, and I had almost everything except just now the raid stuff. Everything was mapped out, ready to go. I actually didn't do the fractals, but I figured fractals weren't going to be too difficult. I had the ascended gear ready to go, or I guess legendary now.
Oh yeah, if you have legendary, it's even better.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't technically need legendary. It's just very convenient.
Oh yeah.
You have to change builds or something, because that's one thing I would also stress. Like, have like an alack build, have, you know, your different boons and stuff so that you can fill shit so much faster.
Mm-hmm. That's just what I wanted to have the legendaries for, so I could play or build anything that I wanted to. Granted, it's not going to
Yep.
be cloth or leather, but
Yeah, but just having one set is big big convenience.
oh yeah, yeah. And I also did something that I normally don't ever do. When I came back, I started to do it all on an elementalist because I was like, I always play heavy plate gear stuff.
Oh shit.
And so this time I was like, I just got to play something different as well. And it was a good time. And that's kind of how I went about doing Throne and Liberty as well, just being mage this time instead of my usual. And it's been a pleasurable experience to just do something different.
Yeah. And I always say like I love making warriors, but they're truthfully never my favorite thing to play. Like in Guild Wars 1, always my main is going to be warrior, but assassins were fucking awesome, dude.
Oh yeah.
Ritualists were fucking awesome. Like,
So OP.
it always seems as though like warrior to be even like close to other classes, you've got to like work 5 times as hard than the other classes.
Right.
Typically. Which is fine, but sometimes it's nice to just like dumpster shit without even, you know,
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Well said. Just dumpster
Yep.
shit.
What it is, man. Yeah, I don't know. One day we'll have to do a Guild Wars 1 playthrough, dude.
I'll be down.
Try to get Mark involved too. I got him to make a character one time, but he got to like level 5 or something. I can't remember.
I wonder if it would be beneficial to kind of have him be leading and I don't really have much knowledge at this point to like be able to say anything, but just let him have his adventure, if you will.
Yeah, sure. I was trying to have him do that because he was one. I was recommending starting in prophecies because that's how you get that type of sense. But I mean, if you start on the other ones, it's not a big deal. It's just you don't get the grind sense. Like you got to go through pre-searing in an old Ascalon area, then the Shiver Peaks, then you can get to LA where you're finally able to like get to a hub. Like factions, you start out in one. Nightfalls, you start out in one.
Yeah. Unless you choose to start on those, you won't be able to select the character you wanted to play, so you'd be stuck doing like a necro or whatnot.
Yeah, Necro Warrior, Elementalist, Monk. That's it. It doesn't have Dervish, Paragon, Assassin, or Ritualist.
That's rough.
It is. But at least what you could do realistically is start at one of those, and then you could get a ferry to say Old Ascalon, and then you can start the quest line from there on a character that you want to play. The only problem with that is you won't have the they never align the skills from other factions or other campaigns with prophecies. So like if you're on a factions character and you're in Ascalon, there's not going to be any skills for you to buy when you reach, you know, the appropriate level.
Right.
So it kind of gimps you unless you've already played and have like skill books and shit to where you can just get your skills, which, you know, you guys wouldn't. Or you might have, but Mark definitely wouldn't. Why are these things attacking me? But I don't think Mark would play by himself. He'd started and just like quit.
Probably the case. Which I can't fault him if you don't have the
Yeah,
nostalgia to it.
for sure. I don't know. I played WoW for him, so
That's fair.
I did. That's why I started when Shadowlands came out. And he quit before he even got, like, I think my item level power was way higher than his. But he
Oh,
just stopped playing. I don't know why he stopped playing. I forgot what happened. And I was doing fucking PvP, man. I was like 1600 rating. Doing alright. Which I know it's easier to get that rating when you haven't PvP'd before, but I felt accomplished.
no, that is in itself awesome. You were just playing the game and getting progress.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, it's just that like that next expansion where you know like your months of hard work is just gone.
That's why I'm a little hesitant about what's going to happen here, because we got tier 1 and then it's going to be leading into tier 2.
I'm assuming though, like if you get your tier 1 shit, like your purples, you should be able to do something with them to maybe help the process of getting the tier 2.
Well, I
Not
hope
exactly
so.
sure, but if it is like that, I am gonna be a little upset. But the Korean version only has tier 2, so if it does happen, it seems as though that's where it's gonna stop, at least for a while. Because I'm okay with having to regrind stuff, but not every 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, like if it's gonna be a couple years or so, you know, sure,
Yeah,
fine. But
I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor, not just have to keep harvesting more.
all right,
Oh man, I've been failing to try and recruit. And I don't think my recruitment message is very juicy. No one's tried to join or whisper. Well, actually, one person whispered me, and then I invited him, and he's never accepted.
I used to be a big guild person in Guild Wars 1 too. A really established guild.
Do you care about the guild emblem? Could I change the guild emblem?
No, no, not at all. I just made this one random because we were talking about it on the spot. Not at all. Actually, speaking of guilds, Mark still has my he's got my obsidian trim guild cape on his character. I remember Kia got very mad at me because I didn't give it over, and I gave it to Mark.
Oof.
I knew Mark was not going to get back on and possibly sell it, so that's why I transferred it to him. At some point,
oh, so you're saying Kia might have possibly sold it?
it's possible. I don't know. I'm not going to say it for sure,
But that's the
they're
reason
worth
why.
a lot of money. Like it's probably equal to like $400 or something.
Holy
or
shit!
more. So yeah, I knew he wouldn't just get on and try to sell it. I'm not saying Kia would,
But yeah, I was almost certain that Mark wouldn't.
yep. Because I don't play all the time. The reason I did that is because I got a gold trim guild, and you can't be a leader of two different guilds. So
Man, it's private server, granted, but at the same time, I had such a situation transpire with this armor set. It was Ion. It was a private server. I got to like the next, or technically the last tier of gear, and was like kick ass. But the set prior was, I mean, I worked for it. I earned it, and it looked so sweet. And this dude decided he wanted to re-roll. I'd been playing with him for a while, and I was like, yeah, just don't sell it or anything. And then like 2 days later, it's just like, how'd you get that gear? You've already managed to upgrade. He's like, oh yeah, I sold your stuff and traded it for this other dude. I'm like, no fucking way.
motherfucker, man. I've been scammed so bad in Guild Wars 1 when I was a kid, dude. People did me dirty, bro.
How do you get
Like,
scammed in Guild Wars 1?
the first one, this is me being like a 13-year-old boy, and I'm looking at this guy's armor. I'm like, dude, your armor looks sick. And he's like, yeah, I can get it for you. Of course, you and I know armor isn't tradable in Guild Wars 1. But I didn't know that as a kid. I was assuming maybe he had like more prestigious armor that had the ability to be traded. And I was like, sure, what do I need to do? And he's like, well, just give me all your gold and then give me your armor so that I can take your name off of that armor and put it on, to the new armor. And it made perfect sense to me at the time. So now I gave him all my gold, which was like 20K, which is a lot back then, and all my armor. So he just takes it and leaves and puts me on ignore. So now I have no gold and no armor, so I can't get armor because I have no gold, and I can't fight shit because I die in one hit. It was fucking awful, dude. I think I literally cried, dude.
Oh god.
Like it was like fucking horrible.
God, that is so painful. Did you make a new character at that point, or how did you recover from that situation?
I think I had a guild mate that helped me out, and it still wasn't the armor I had before. It was just like some cheap shit, and the armor I had before was cheap as well, but it wasn't that cheap.
Yeah.
I got like extremely cheap armor that was not even max armor.
You were fine for your life just killing one mob.
Oh yeah, it was fucking horrible. No one's gonna take me in their group either because I don't have fucking armor on, so it's like I just couldn't do anything.
That's rough.
Yep. Yeah, that was just one instance. There's other instances of me just getting scammed, and unfortunately, it turned me toxic, and I started doing it to other people. Like I had a scam where like I would tell people to drop their item, and I would drop mines just so they would trust me. Just so I could see it. I don't know what story I would say. I just want to see the writing on it or something. And I would shadow step to them with the assassin ability and just pick it up before they and then I would just leave. Yeah, man, I did some shit.
So my stories were like with RuneScape and stuff, and I was like, this dude will sell me his account, and I was like, awesome, fuck yeah, that account is so much higher than mine. He's just like, yeah, we'll just do it through trading gold, and so you just give me the gold, and I'll give you my account and stuff, and I did, but of course at the time I just didn't appreciate how dumb that was, being like, if you're giving me the account, I'll just end up with the gold. It just made perfect sense to my little brain.
Yep.
And I gave him my gold. No, And then there was another thing in RuneScape to being that, I mean, this didn't work on like max level players because they could just rock it, but there was an area where, and also if they're max or higher level, they probably done the quest, but there was a quest to get an item where it was like this wine inside of a monk area, and so you open the door, your character had like a, you had to open the door, walk in, and there's like 8 to 10 monks in the room, and if you picked up the wine, they would all start to aggro to you and stuff, and I'd be like, hey man, can you help me? Can you go pick up this wine? And so they'd go do it. They start getting attacked. They start fighting, but they realize that they can't, so they try and run out. And they open. You have to click the door to open it, and then click to move. So they would open the door, and I would just close it. I would just keep closing it every time they try to open it, and they would die. And then I'd just pick up their stuff because they couldn't run back in time before it became seeable to people in the world. So that was my little.
That's funny.
Get rich quick.
That is hilarious. Yep. Good old days. You can't really do it anymore because it's like most young people don't play these types of games anymore. They're like, you know, on COD and other shit. Also, I probably wouldn't really scam people anyways in today's realm. The only way that I guess you could say I'm scamming in Guild Wars 1 is I know the value of stuff that a lot of people don't know values for, and I buy stuff at very cheap. It's called power trading.
Yeah, you're just playing off their ignorance, but you're not intentionally.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna accept my price that I'm giving them, or that they're selling it for,
I mean, you could be a good Samaritan afterwards and be like, this thing actually goes for this amount, but now that you know, thank you.
Right.
Just like, so you don't make the same mistake twice. But
right. I guess I could have it.
I don't know if that's like a good guy move or a bad guy move where it's just like insult to injury, but
it would probably come off as a bad guy move, but got a lot of sensitive people in Guild Wars 1, man. What am I supposed to do?
oh, it's PvP time in the world.
Oh yeah, man. He wants to do a crossbow bow, but there's no real reliable build info for that, except for some YouTube videos.
Who wants to do crossbow bow?
My dad.
Oh,
I've recommended crossbow dagger or bow dagger if you wanted to kind of be in that realm of DPS, but
if it wasn't staff and daggers, I would have probably done crossbow and daggers, just being like demon hunter build all the way. I think that just looks so cool. Can you try and convince him of the? Does he kind of care about the concept of stuff, or is it more just numbers?
I think so. He honestly, he wants to play like a tank class, but he doesn't do very well with his reaction times to stuff. I mean, I explained to him in this game that it's actually pretty important. It's not like, you know, New World or whatever, where you can literally just hold your shield up and for almost ever because you have so much stamina. And Even though you block some attacks in this game, you still get hurt, and you have to like perfect attack and stuff, or perfect block, or dodge. I just think it would have been an issue for him.
Has he seen you play?
New play?
No, has he seen you play? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
did he come to the consensus, or was he like,
Yeah.
I'd still like to try?
Yeah. He said that it was a bit much.
Gotcha.
He was watching Mark and I play the open world dungeon. And I tried to explain it to him too. It looked like a lot because I was also healing, and I was trying to keep people healed because we didn't have a healer. And so it looked like a lot worse than it was. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's pretty decided on the crossbow though.
Crossbow bow?
Dagger.
Oh, okay.
Mom always goes healer. And she's bow. I convinced her to do bow wand for healing.
Is there a reason why she goes healer mostly?
For her, it is just kind of like she likes to be a healer. It's just like a thing she likes.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it was for the same for my dad. Like, he always would do tank and stuff. And actually, when I was younger, he was always tank, and I was like some sort of melee DPS. My mom was always healing. Like, we played Lord of the Rings online, Rift. What others? There's some other ones that we played. Rift was a really fun fucking game. I don't know if you played it.
I did briefly, but I struggled with, you know, getting into it, if you will.
Yeah. Had a lot of fun with it.
My problem with it was just being that I always compared things to WoW, and that like tarnished the experience off the bat. Just being like, why can't I fucking jump? You could jump in that game, but having two classes, it just wasn't WoW, and so that sullied a lot of things for me.
That's how I've always felt when I was playing Guild Wars 1. Obviously, I didn't even try WoW. I think if I would have tried it back then, I probably would have liked it, though. I just was going off of the looks, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had a fucking blast. When I played Shadowlands, dude, that was fucking fun. I mean, instantly I was doing mythics. Like, it wasn't like it was... I always heard, like, it was so hard to play WoW and, like, get into, like, mythics and doing this and PvP, but I mean, it was fucking like any other MMO. It was nothing really that hard. I'm sure the raids are very hard. I never tried a raid. But...
So the only thing that's difficult with it is just trying to get people to be able to coordinate, because, you know, once you know stuff, it's not a problem,
Right.
but getting then 40 people to do it, and that was difficult because it was 40 people, and then they like knocked it down to 20 or 25, and so that made it easier, but it was just trying to get everyone to be on the same page, and the jokes were kind of just being like, don't stand in the fire, and you'd still end up having that one person standing in the fire.
Yeah.
And then they started to introduce, like, one person messing up wiped the whole entire raid, so it really did just take one person. You could have let that person die in the fire, but now it's conflagration and everyone dies if he dies in the fire. Just wasn't conducive to helping the game, but I think the rating in itself was a good time to be had, and
I'm sure I would have liked it. I mean, at some point, you put enough hours in any game, like, stuff's gonna come pretty natural.
mm-hmm.
but I had a good time in it. Like I said, I like the game. I just don't necessarily like the progression.
Oh, and also another thing that I think contributed to why people were saying that like raiding or mythic and stuff was hard is because you have these people that like watch these like world first raid clears or dungeon clears or whatever the thing is for, you know, MLG level type regards, and then you've got regular people who think they're that. And so anyone who ends up being like not the perfect, or they go the wrong way in this, they just start to flame other people. So like if you're a healer or a tank and you happen to mess up or whatnot, they would just trash you and such. And it was, they're not doing anything amazing and such. They're not these high-end gamers, but the player base kind of adopted such a harsh review that I think the stigma was to evolve into being doing mythic and stuff was difficult, but it was mainly just people making it harder for other people. Instead of having patience and trying to help them, they would just immediately be like, you fucking suck, get kicked.
Yeah.
Can we actually get somebody who has 2 brain cells? And it's like, your English is terrible. How are you even able to conceive what's going on right now? I always judge people on their arguments and stuff based upon their typing, and it's like, if you can't even really like make full sentences, I just don't even attempt to bother with people.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was fun. And I don't know why, but I had another urge to go back, so I played through the new content.
I will say I've given up on a majority of the expansions across WoW's history, but this one has actually been good, and the gearing up has been enjoyable. Being you play a reasonable amount of time for the battlegrounds, you're going to be able to get battleground gear. It's not something that is insane, and it's well balanced. The content, it's good. I'm curious to see how much you'd have to play for arenas, but gearing up has just been a good time across the board, and the class and gameplay has been good, not bloated. So it's a good expansion. It is a good expansion.
I thought it was cool. I know a lot of shit goes over my head because I literally Shadowlands and this one's the only ones I've played, and I don't really even remember any of the story of Shadowlands, to be quite honest.
Neither do I.
But I remember having fun. I like the undead shit. I didn't like going to like the Orbos shit. Like I was confused as fuck in there for like 90% of the time I was in there for some reason.
The vampires, the tree people, and undead.
What are the like? There's like robots almost. Maybe not robots, but you remember where Orbos
Was it like the circular city, the main hub area? Yeah, you had angels or whatnot that were like inhabiting. Yeah.
That shit, like, I don't know why. I was just so confused, like, where to go. Like, I was, like, fucked up for a little bit. Took me a little while to know what I was doing.
Yeah, that expansion wasn't exactly clear. They still had some convoluted systems in place that it's like, why? You join a faction, get these abilities then are going to dictate whether it is you maybe excel or not, and if you want to change up factions, it's going to take you time just so you can get another ability that might be good for PvP or PvE, and you'd be basing like your character design around that, and having to go to some dude to level up gear or weaponry that was, I don't know, he's bound in chains or something. You had to go to him to be able to gear up.
Yep.
Just not necessary. Things that did not add depth to the game, but just more annoyance to have to deal with.
Have you seen that Forever Winter game?
Is that the game where it's like the extraction shooter, but it's yeah. I have. It does look cool.
Like, I thought it was cool, but I was watching a video of some people playing it, and it just, maybe I didn't watch long enough, but it didn't really seem like much going on. But again, I could have been watching at a bad time or something.
I only saw the trailer, so I like the concept itself seems cool, but I have no idea how the actual execution's pulled off.
Yeah. Well, this game is so much easier. If you go back and play it on a new character, like everything is just like, god damn. I remember struggling with that spider. I don't think I went below. I don't think I lost like more than 5% health.
Oh, you're doing the tower climb thing?
I was just doing it because it was open.
Yeah.
I'm out of it now. I noticed your friends list is not carried over either. So a little bit of annoyance there. But
That's a weird design, yeah.
I think New World was the same way though. I never made another character in New World because of the crafting.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, I don't know why people are so obsessed with that, like the fresh start servers. You think I'm gonna... Dude. Fuck no.
I can't do professions. BB! Well, I prefer not to. If it's something that's just too insane, New World was too insane for me, having to try and do all that just to try and be competitive.
I normally don't do it, but I like the game so much, I did it. As the first game I think I've actually ever become like, doing the professions. So it's kind of, yeah, I probably won't do it again.
I love the sound design that went into doing those professions. They were great, like chopping wood in the like open area and you just hearing it reverberate, or mining and hearing it like bounce off the cliff sides. Awesome.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough to encourage me to go out and try and do alchemy and all the other stuff that required more than just, while I'm adventuring, I collect the stuff. It was just a little too much for my liking.
Yeah. I just like, I loved pushing the mutated dungeons in that game. And like to do so, it was so much easier being able to craft, bis gear.
Were those added later on, mutated dungeons?
They were.
Oh. Was it just like... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Is that like the equivalent of WoW doing mythics with the like add-ons?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. The mutator are just a direct copy of mythic dungeons.
Gotcha.
And WoW. And it went up to mythic, or I'm sorry, it went up to mutated 10. And they shortly changed it to only mutated 3. I'm not sure what was going on with it, but it was the same difficulty as 10, but I guess they squashed the creep or something. Difficulty creep. 1 was like, I think a realistic 1. And then 2 was like a 7 or some shit, and then a 3 was equivalent to 10 when it was out. Did you ever do the gear score grind? Or were you not playing at that time?
Uh, if it wasn't at initial release, I did not do gear score grind. No.
Bruh. The way you had to get your gear score increased for like a good 6 months or longer was you would randomly get an increase from any item. It didn't matter if you had that type of item equipped or not, out of a chest, or it could drop off of an enemy, and it was just completely random. So it was like your crossbows would be in the mix. Your not crossbow, but your any type of weapon, all types of weapons and all armor was just in that mix. So I mean, you could be getting life staff increases when you're not even using a life staff. It's just so fucking annoying.
Yikes. No. No, thank
I
you.
I did that grind to max on my account and my parents' accounts each.
Oh God, no.
I don't know why I did it, but I don't know why. I just I fucking love that game. It was actually fun. Like I took their accounts from never having done any mutated dungeons to going through them all, and just fun. Mark started playing when they took that out. So it was like you pretty much, if you just got an upgrade, it would upgrade fully to whatever that dropped. So like before you would get say you got a great sword of 502 that dropped, your expertise would only go up to 501 because it would marginalize it. It was just fucked.
So they just went through multiple iterations of gearing or improving player power.
Yeah. Now they have I guess what you would call legendaries in Guild Wars 2. They're called artifact weapons. They have special abilities on them.
Oh, but can you stat swap them at will?
You can put stats on them, and you can do it at will, but it's very expensive.
Oh.
A lot of different types of shit you have to do to stack that up.
Do they have bots or exploits in the game that are buy gold, sell gold because they've got just farmers out there?
They do for sure. I mean, every MMO has that, but even if you're buying gold, you can't buy that type of stuff with gold. It's stuff you have to do grinds for, getting the faction tokens, for an example. I mean, it's stuff you have to grind for.
Okay.
You can't really pay to win it. What level are they now? Dude, I've been going through this and I have 9 stat points to put in. Not even fucking putting in my stats. Getting crazy in he.
Leveling up the gear?
No, my skill points.
Right, but I mean, are you leveling up the gear?
No. I haven't done shit.
And you're not having any difficulty?
No.
Wow.
I'm doing sword, shield, greatsword though. So I'm kind of tanky. Relationships. Oh shit, my mom's level 29. I got 9 more levels to go. Well, they're gonna be overtuned. They wanted to do the level 20 dungeon, and they're worried it's gonna be too hard and shit, but you're gonna go into that shit level 30 plus probably.
Are they opposed to being carried? Do they want to have some challenge, or could we just literally steamroll everything for them?
Yeah, I think they'd be fine with that. They definitely will never do PvP though. They are not into that at all.
Understandable.
Even though I made a build for my dad in New World, believe it or not, and he was doing the faction missions, and I told him it's best to do those as flagged because you get more currency. And he was fucking some people up, dude, with the sword, shield, and Warhammer build that I had made him. It was actually funny. I was actually, I think, on Discord with him while he was doing it, and I could hear my mom telling him to get him, like, kill him, kill him. It's funny. Guy tried fucking running away. Couldn't get away from him. Leaping strike. Too good.
And that wasn't enough to convince him, being like, maybe this is not so bad.
No, because he's done it before and just gets kind of shafted. I think that was just like an open world gamer that had no build and just got shat on.
Oh.
My wife is making enchiladas and they smell very delicious.
Ooh, what kind of meats?
Just chicken.
Chicken. Yum, 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 yum.
But they're with the Verdes sauce, like the green one, green spicy sauce.
Yeah.
So good.
Do you guys cook at home more often than you eat out?
Yeah, my wife normally cooks. I do, like, I order food a lot, but it's normally just usually actually on the weekend. But she's cooking today. Which we already kind of ate. We kind of did like a weird thing today. Like we ate pancakes for lunch.
Yo.
And it was like, you know, pancakes are kind of filling.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't been hungry until, you know, not too long ago. Speak with Robert.
You guys more pancakes or waffles?
I think pancakes just because they're easier to make, but we have a waffle maker too.
Would you
Just doesn't
do
get used that often.
pancakes or crepes?
Pancakes.
I'm a crepes person.
Yeah. I mean, I could do both, but I think I just would probably prefer the pancakes.
Mm-hmm. Now there's some like Japanese or Korean kind of cooking of pancakes where they end up like super fluffy.
I've seen those. I've always wanted to try them.
Yeah. Just want to know.
I wonder, I mean, you gotta think like one of those has to just imagine how much yeast that is, man.
Yeah.
That shit's gotta fill your entire fucking belly.
If it does and I only need one, then it's kind of a
Right.
W, but I just want to know, is it good? Is it like mainly just air? If you
sure it's
cut
good.
into it, does it retain its shape, or is it like what do you call those
It
things?
does. I've seen them. It retains it. It's
Oh,
just like
man.
really fluffy.
God, I'd be some like fat American dude like injecting with like different jelly or whatnot.
They'd be going ham on you. Like, look at that motherfucker over there.
Bringing my ketchup bottle doesn't even make sense. Get him out. Just get him out. I don't want to see him anymore.
You know, the funniest thing is like when I was younger, my dad would take my mom to get her nails done. My mom and my sister. And, you know, typically when you're doing that, it's like a Korean shop or, you know, whatever. Dude, they will sit there. Actually, I think it's Japanese more likely. But they will sit there like spitting in each other's faces, like talking. Because, you know, they're talking so fast, and my dad and I would just be there trying not to laugh. And you could tell they'd sit there and, like, they'd be talking about us. It was just so funny.
I've always been curious to like know what's going on, what they're saying.
Yeah. I've got a Chinese friend that I met on War Z in, like, 2011.
I'm so sorry.
He still just randomly calls me on Steam. He pretty much practically begs me to play Tarkov. I'm like, I don't fucking want to play Tarkov. But he calls me like once a week on Steam, trying to get me to play Tarkov.
You did stream Tarkov one time, and I popped into the stream to see what was going on, and like I think he was running ahead. He got sniped. You were behind a truck, and then you like, I'm just gonna go out there and loot him, and then you got sniped.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
That's funny as shit. It was with him too. I don't like Tarkov because there's like, it's like you got this bullet and it does this, and this bullet that does this, and this armor that protects this, and I just want a looter shooter, man. Like I don't want to have to fucking learn like I'm in school on how to play a game, bro, like that, bro.
yeah, it's a little bit too in
Just too much
depth.
going on.
I mean, it's cool that they've got it to that realistic aspect, but when I watch other people like Landmark, who I think is like a Landmark or freaking Pestily, they're like running through this stuff and they'll like loot a person's magazine. They'll, instead of like trying to unload the ammo and identify what it is, they literally like click on the image, they rotate the magazine because you can see what ammo is actually inside of it, and they know just off of the appearance like, oh, this is the ammo I need, and then they start to unload it. So it's just
Yeah.
God, it's insane.
It's just too much. Like, I'm with you. It's cool they have that like that, but I just I can't do it, man.
I would be willing to play it, but now the game, and I've been really deterred from it because of how bad the hacking is. Like a dude, he got his account banned for the sake of doing the video, but he bought cheats and he was able to see through walls, and like 90% of the lobby, everyone was cheating. And so like you'd see people, they'd be looking at each other through the wall, they'd do the little wiggle, and they would be like, oh yeah, you can see the wiggle, they would wiggle back, and then they would just know not to shoot each other because, you know, just who has the better cheats at that point. And they just run the lobby, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, unfortunately, with a lot of the extraction shooters, that's what's happening. You probably got more than half of your lobby cheating. It's even worse nowadays because now people are doing the memory cheat where it's not even on their computer. And it's just like,
Genius, but I hate it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I had my fun cheating in War Z when I was a young lad. That's not something I would take pride in now, for sure.
You cheat one time in Left 4 Dead, and they just never let you forget it.
Wait, you never did in War Z?
No.
Oh, dude, I was fucking super jumping. I was no clipping in the shit, dude. I was going ham in War Z, man. And we were always, well, I was just buying them on different Steam accounts so that, you know, I never got my main one fucked up. Even though I don't think they would have done a VAC ban for that game anyways, but...
I wasn't even doing like PvP and ruining any other person's game. I was just doing it in like a private lobby and just how fast can I go from the start to finish.
Right. That is fucked. And here you've got CSGO cheaters that are just fucking getting all the way to global elite using hacks and don't get a single VAC ban. Fucking people, man. I get the appeal of cheating in, you know, PvP games, but it's like at the end of the day, you gotta know, like, I'm fucking cheating. Like, how's that shit cool?
If it tarnishes other people's experience, it's kind of a letdown, but then it's not even fun to take away your, like, you having to even try. I can't see the fun in trying to cheat in a competitive type game.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It really doesn't make sense to me.
It's like, at the very synthesized down version of it, I love chess. I love to play chess. But it's like, if you were to cheat in that game, where's the merit and fun in that? And then that just, like, extrapolates anything that would be more I mean, chess is super complex, but...
Yeah. It can be.
Right. It's like, where's the fun in not getting better? You win by just having deceived somebody or abused a system. It's meh.
I wish I had a video when I was still living with my parents at this time. I was probably, I don't know, 14 or 15, where I was in War Z. And do you remember the different towns like Smallville and Clearview and shit?
Yeah.
I was in Smallville, and I was looking at a like a clan going into the church. It was literally like I think like 12 people, and I videoed it, and I went to the house that's across from it and just shot a crossbow shot at one of them randomly. And they all just start fucking sprinting over to the fucking house like little fucking ants, dude. When I tell you, I killed every single one of them. And the last kill was with my hatchet because I ran out of ammo. Dude, I had it on my dad's NAS, and that NAS has since died. I really wish I would have fucking had that video, man. That was my most prideful PvP video ever.
Were you like God mode? Were you cheating on that one?
No, I wasn't cheating.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, they fucking got destroyed. I only cheated like for a very brief time. I was just like, everybody was doing it, like, and I mean everybody, because they had that free REI cheat from like Unknown Cheats or whatever that site's called.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean everybody was cheating. And I will say I did have fun, but again, it's not something that I would take pride in doing today.
Right. I think Mark said he only ever cheated in Battlefield Heroes. I mean, he might have done War Z with you.
Yeah, he definitely did War Z. I think, yeah, I did War Z. What other PvP games have I done? I don't think I've done any other cheating in any other game. War Z's literally been the only game I've been banned in. I've been banned in APB, but that was for scamming. I took somebody's sitting duck. Like 2013 or so.
How did you scam him out of that?
You remember back then there was no like trade, so like you would send stuff through the mail. And I forgot. Oh yeah, he was gonna send first, and I was supposed to send I think my nano. And he sent his duck first, and I fucking said, "See ya." Yeah, they banned my shit permanently, and it took me like a couple months, and they finally lifted it. And but with what that entailed is they took all the money off of it. I think I had like a few mil, like all my money was gone. I was like, yeah, I will never do this again. That was a hard learned lesson.
Did the man get his sitting duck back?
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm sure they reviewed the chat logs and were like, yeah, he's fucked. Banned me and probably got his shit back. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I ever got to communicate with the person again. I still had my Nana, though. They just took all of my money.
I remember meeting up with YOLO or Spaz 12 Law in real life and whatnot. And that man immediately, I guess I was weird and awkward at that time, and he was also more of like a preppy guy. But then, I got some weed for the occasion. He wasn't so much of a smoker. I think he just tried to feign that he was those things, and we were at least drinking some beers, but then I guess I was weird. Or I am weird, but not his type of gentleman, and so he's like, oh yeah, my parents are gonna be home soon, you gotta go, and then I was blocked shortly after, but I was like, so you're gonna help reimburse? Because I did say I'd get this stuff, but I thought it was a agreement that you would help help out in that front, and he did not, and he never did. I never got an answer as to why he blocked me and stuff, but it's
so
cool.
he took your money?
No, he didn't take my money, but as for like the occasion and coming together, that we're gonna try and make a little like thing of it, and it was more like he just bought a couple beers. I bought like an ounce, not an ounce, maybe it was an ounce. It might have been half an ounce of the weed, and
Yeah.
I just had extra. I didn't end up selling it because I didn't want to try and do that, but it was probably too much for the occasion anyways. But anyways, I met a person.
Yeah.
I'll do that again. Oh no, I guess maybe I won't. I'm 2 for 2. I met another
What?
gentleman named Marcus. He was in the military. He was on a train. Oh god, he was on a connecting train, I guess, over in the Washington D.C. area. So I ended up driving over there to meet up with them and stuff. We got some Chipotle. It was cool, and we were good friends. We met on Mark and I were playing like an Ark Survival Evolved game, but it wasn't Ark, but it was similar to that kind of game. We played together, met with him. Interesting, cool person. I bought him food when he was struggling after he got out the military, and like a little cooling fan you put ice water in, it would try and blow cool air on you and stuff. He also bought me Divinity 2, and I ended up never playing it. I felt bad about that. I tried to play it, but like turn-based games, they made it sound so good, and I was hyped up from their enjoyment, but when I started playing, I was like, I can't do this. Anyways, only like a month ago now, or 2 weeks ago, he calls me up. We haven't talked in a while. He's like, well, shit. Sends me a message. I'm gonna remove you. I just thought that I would give you the chance and let you know. And so then I called him while I was at work to be like, what's going on? And he had this whole different perception of how our friendship had gone and forgotten some stuff, and thought himself without blame and anything, being like, communication's a two-way street, and you did forget some things, but he would say like, I remember 99.9% of all interactions and stuff.